Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Coaches Show. Adam Plager alongside the head coach of the Forster football team, Jim Catanzaro, as we look back at a Week 1 victory and preview Game 2 of the year. Let's go back to last week in a defensive battle, 21-7 victory. Let's talk about the team defense in Game 1 of the year.
Yeah, it was great. With a new defense coordinator and a lot of new starters. I think we had only 4 returning starters on the defense. Great to see the hallmark of a high-intensity defense that was running to the football, making plays, putting pressure on our opponent. I think our run defense was stellar, holding them to under a yard a carry. So when you see things like that, you're like, okay, we're picking up where we left off. Nothing was lost in translation. And so as we transition into this new focus, seeing a great commitment to that rock standard effort level is still there. And so I want to make sure that we keep that moving forward.
The pass defense certainly one to watch. 3 interceptions caused by the team defense. One to cap off the game. Just talk about that energy they were able to create, as well as the way they controlled the run game, holding Wisconsin Lutheran to, I believe, 13 yards overall in the contest.
Yeah, I think one of the first one by Thomas DeCesaro was great because it kind of flipped the field. We'd had a little, we're kind of stubbing our toe coming out early on the offensive end, and that flipped the field for us. And then Nick Reeks obviously set up a scoring opportunity for us, and so I think he's got like 7 on his career now. He just tends to be Johnny on the spot there. And then, it was great to see Brandon Henderson as a freshman kind of getting a big start as a first-year player for us, going out there and making a play to seal the victory at the end there and keep them from scoring and closing that margin again. He was really solid there. And then defensively, I can't say enough about Michael Kelly at the defensive tackle spot. He was a wrecking ball. Jalen Johnson had a couple of really nice plays as well as a fifth-year senior for us at that spot. And then you had the brand new stars at defensive end with Mark Rice and Preston Mosier, working after it. Great support from a couple of other guys, and Victor Aguirre, James Stagnis, Nate Barnes. Those guys really did a great job up front. And then, new linebackers starting, and they made some nice plays too. So it was really a lot of fun to see new guys that have been kind of working in the wings the last couple of years and building themselves up and getting ready for the moment. It's just fun to see. You knew you were in transition in terms of who was going to do it. You just want to make sure they could keep doing it. They definitely did.
A slow start for the group offensively, but Josh Gaska, in his first career start, 3 passing touchdowns, no interceptions, 257 yards passing, and also 3 different candidates in the end zone as well. Just talk about the way he's right now building his chemistry with the offense.
Yeah, it was great to see Josh out there. This is not his first time as a starter, but it's his first time being the starter, if you will. And I thought he did a really nice job on Saturday. Calming our guys down, running the huddle, getting the operations, because practice tempo versus game tempo is sometimes a little bit different. The energy goes, the adrenaline's going, and so it works differently. He did a great job with that. He has no problem spreading the ball around, taking a few shots here and there. And I thought the thing that really stood out to me was his toughness in the pocket. He took some hits on Saturday while throwing the football and standing there and delivering that ball and trusting the offensive line to give him just enough time, but also being willing to take. There was a play we ran out of empty. We had 5 guys in protection. They brought 6, and he stood there and delivered the ball. Took a hit, but he delivered the ball, and that to me is a great testament to a tough-minded quarterback who's a football player. And I thought that was really proud to see that from him. And then we just got to make sure we clean up some of those errors. We were on the 1-yard line, fumble the snap on the 1-yard line. We cross the end zone and get a holding penalty that doesn't lead to a touchdown because we fumble the next snap, or have an errant snap, I should say. And then we had a kick return for a touchdown to start the game that got called back. So, there were 3 other potential scores that could have made a much different margin of victory, and we need to clean that up going into this next week.
Certainly some penalty trouble in that game, costing 105 yards overall, but also wiping back 2 touchdowns. Just talk about the way your group was able to stay composed despite some of that adversity.
Yeah, they kept fighting, and that to me is the thing we want to keep doing. I think that, one of the things that's kind of crazy is we had 3 drives on Saturday that were over 6 minutes in time. One that was 8 minutes and 48 seconds in the fourth quarter that really we didn't end up scoring on that drive because it got called back because of the holding penalty. But it was a drive that really sent the message that this game is over and we're not going to allow any more time for the opponent to come back on. And so we had a situation with that fumbled punt that we need to clean up a little bit there. We had a snap situation where our quarterback had jammed his thumb. We didn't want to put him under center for the snap, and then we botched the snap. So we're game 1, the best. You usually make your biggest mistakes in week 1, and they come back in week 2 and clean a lot of those things up. And I think that for our guys, that will be the case this week.
You look at the third down conversions, certainly disparity in that category. You're able to hold Wisconsin Lutheran to just 2 third-down conversions. Just talk about that element of the game.
Yeah, I think they had 2, and I think we ended up with 8 or if 10 the way we count because we count our 4th-down conversions too. So for me, I thought that was something we were really good on both sides of the ball. I thought defensively, they were able to put them in some 3rd and long situations and take advantage of that. And then offensively, what we were able to do is get into some 3rd and manageables. You get into the 3rd and 4 or less, and it opens up the playbook. You look at us in the red zone or, in the plus side of the field where we're in 4-down territory and getting at least half on 3rd down. That's a win for us. So I think that is something we work, we drill every week. We scheme very hard for those periods. And so I think that, seeing that come to fruition on the field on Saturday was definitely a positive.
The running back room, again, by committee this past weekend. I'm sure that's something that will continue throughout the year, but what did you make of the run game last weekend?
Yeah, I thought we had a lot of guys. Jace Knudsen, I think, averaged over 10 yards a carry on Saturday. Mel Chun did the heavy lifting early in the game, and then Wilson Buckley, was a double-digit carry guy. And we've got some really talented guys still to play that didn't get touches on Saturday. Josiah Kidd had the most carries on our team a year ago. He's still plugging along. Taylor Goodwin's another really good one. And then there's some young guys that I think are just like, could all you guys graduate, please? So, having 4 senior running backs in the room, that does clog things up at the top a little bit, but they've been practicing hard, working hard, and I was very pleased with their performance on Saturday.
It's no question that Illinois College is coming to town, a team highly favored in the Midwest Conference preseason coaches poll. They'll bring a couple of heavy hitters offensively. How do you try and control their offense?
Gosh, with a lot of prayer. No, to be honest with you, we know they're going to be coming for us this year. We were their only regular season loss last year. We're their last regular season loss. We are a different team than we were a year ago. They're a little bit different too. They've had in addition to having their All-American quarterback and wide receiver back, they ended up bringing back a first-team all-conference wide receiver from another school that transferred in. And so they are so explosive, so dangerous down the field. Destin Chance is a very athletic quarterback with a super strong arm. We just got to play sound. And I think that's one of the things that if we can play to our best abilities and play a very sound football game, I believe that we will come out with success. If we don't do those things, or we lose track of Brunstein at number 7, we lose track of him, he's going to be 10 yards behind us before we know what's going on, and Destin will get him the ball. And so we've just got to be really smart about our approach. We got to be really smart about how we run our techniques and run in some of those kinds of things. And I think that Coach Gonzaga is going to do a great job getting ready for that. And so, like I said, it's a challenge. Anybody that wants to be a great defense, this should be something they're striving for, is to have this game on the books.
Yeah, and you talked about last weekend too, just that adjustment from that first half to the second half. Just talk about how crucial those adjustments will be in game next weekend.
Yeah, we're going to have to be on par every single time. They do a lot of slight adjustments with their routes, and so they'll start looking for our leverages and look for the different things that we're doing and then try to make their adjustments based off that. We just need to really we got to be on our P's and Q's, if you will.
One final question for you. Obviously, it was Heroes Weekend last weekend. A really great showing to honor our veterans. What did you make of that celebration and the ceremony?
Yeah, great support. We had 2 amazing guest captains with us, and I thought that was truly special when you're able to bring men out there that have fought to defend our country and make it so we can have the freedoms to even do things like play a football game. And so a great partnership with the Alpha Phi sorority that continues. I don't know how many Heroes Day T-shirts we sold, but I bet it was probably close to 300. And looking forward to writing that check to make a donation to the local American Legion. So it was, when we look at who supports our program, and you look at the guys and the passion they had for carrying out the different military flags and their stories as to why. There's some really cool stories. We have that North Carolina flag that was flown over a base in Afghanistan by one of the groups we sent care packages to. And, Zach Wren's mom and dad met while Zach's dad was stationed at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. So as he was carrying out that flag, that was kind of a cool story. The personal relationships to family members or friends that are overseas for each one of the flags that was carried out. That's something that's fun because I get to hear those things, and so that sees a side of our guys that has nothing to do with football, but shows a lot of their passion.
Certainly shows us that football is more than just a game. That's going to wrap things up for episode 2 of the Coaches Show. Week 2 is this coming Saturday, 1 o'clock conference opener against the Illinois College Blue Boys.